Ugh. At times like these, the one thing I can't avoid is negativity. Yeah, like boss fights, levels are an essential part of any video game. There are some that rock, but then there are others that just ticks me off. So today, I'm going to be counting down the 9 levels that frustrated me due to their poor design, annoying elements, or just being plain boring. I don't have any rules here other than the one per franchise and only levels I face rules, and this list is based on my opinion and how I remember these levels from the last time I played through them. So with that said, let the nightmare begin. Okay, I'll admit, number 9 is not a bad level, but it sure as heck is an annoying one. That level is Toad's music route from Mario Party DS. Okay, now, story-wise, there is nothing wrong with this level. All Toad wanted was Mario and company stopping a wild hammer brother from charging her music route, and she would reward them with a sky crystal. And both the layout and music are pretty nice too. So, what's my problem with this level? Simple, the gimmicks! You see, in Mario Party DS, all boards except for Wiggler's Garden and Bowser's Pinball Machine have special ways to get the stars. What's this level's special way to get stars? Well, you get stars from these music notes and they'll sell it to you for 5 coins. Then they'll raise the price until they hit 30 coins, and then they'll revert it back to 5 and repeat raising the price until they hit 30, and then you get a picture if you actually play the game. Honestly, I wouldn't mind this either. If the stage hazards here didn't bounce you all over the board like a jelly bean. Seriously, I don't think anyone here can catch a break from bouncing around. For starters, there's Hammer Bro, who you can't even see, who can bounce you to another part of the board if you land on the drum, or the violin, which triggers a player to the location of the player that triggered it. Even the stars can't seem to take a break as there's the metronome. If one triggers it, it will send the star to another location on the board with a different price. Granted, that's not much, but trust me, these gimmicks are very, very irritating. You can be close to 1 star when you accidentally land on these trigger spaces, and whoops, you have to do all that running around all over again, hoping that the other players don't get to the star first. And judging by the changing prices, you better not waste your coins in the shop while dealing with a star that costs around 15 to 30 coins. These gimmicks are especially irritating when you're the last person to move every turn. Though it's lower on the list because even though I find it annoying and I did lose to this board several times during my playthrough of this game, I don't really hate it with a burning passion. Mainly because I do remember winning this board quite a lot with luck by my side. Granted, that's not a good thing, but it's better than having to put up with these stupid gimmicks and triggering them. And the battle against the Hammer Brother, while easy, isn't too bad, even if it's a memory game. Still, that doesn't excuse the level's annoyance, and seeing how the Mario Party games ruin friendships, I wouldn't be surprised if this level causes tension among friends. Still, compared to the rest of the levels on this list, it's Central Highway compared to those. For this next level, let's head over to the NES era. The NES era has a lot of beloved games and others that are just abominations. But at the same time, it also has its fair share of games that people are indifferent with. One such game is Kid Icarus, a platformer based on Greek mythology and the tale of a boy who tried to escape using wax wings. Yeah, looking at this game, it's pretty clear that Nintendo have no clue what to do with it, but to be honest, I don't really hate it. Didn't stop this franchise from going dormant until Nintendo decided to bring Pit into Smash Bros, which reminds me of Casey, why did you review the 5th Spider's Pass character at this year's Game Awards? Sorry, got off track. Anyways, I'm just going to cover a chase. Number 8 is the mazes. And just by hearing that word, I know that all of you are probably cheering with joy. Granted, mazes can be fun, but in video games, most of them aren't. I'm not usually a fan of video games where you can't progress with ease unless you have a guide, hence why I'm not into games like Zelda or Metroid, but honestly, even with guides, these types of scenarios are still irritating. Granted, I did beat these without guides, but that doesn't excuse the annoyance factors here. So, what do you do in these mazes? Well, aside from finding the boss of the world, you also can free Petrified Centurion with hammers you can obtain in the shop or in the previous levels. These aren't a problem, but my problem here is the fact that pretty much every room in these mazes look identical. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me here. It's not like there's anything interesting going on in these rooms either. Toad's music room looked pretty and had nice music, but since this is an NES game, these level layers are barely interesting and the music here is boring. I know what you're thinking, but can you find a map that can help you? Yeah, but you almost never find it without walkthroughs, and even if you do, they're worthless without a torch, which you need to find in a shop. Granted, the layouts and certain enemies change, but be real here. Do they make these mazes any better? And speaking of enemies, you can find the notorious eggplant wizards here. One touch from your eggplants and you're pretty much handicapped until you seek a nerf. And judging by how useless the maps are, yeah. As for the bosses in these levels, they're not really bad, but they're not fun either. And while the centurions you rescue do assist you, just like the maps you find in these mazes, they're useless. So, bottom line, all 3 of these mazes are boring, repetitive, and all they did was inspire the creation of deadly towers. I did get through them quickly than I imagined in some occasions, but still, like Toad's music rule, that doesn't excuse the annoyance here. All 3 of these mazes are pretty bad, but if you want my honest opinion on which one is the worst, it'll be the 3rd maze. Because what's the point of the door on the right where the only thing it gives you is a map, which, like I said, is useless? At least I don't see any of these mazes in Uprising, which reminds me, I better pick that game as a Christmas present. Before its fall from grace, Earthworm Jim was once a huge gaming star despite being a bug, starring in 2 successful 2D platformers and even a TV series, which was pretty good from what I've heard. For a while, I've always thought that Earthworm Jim 2 is superior than its predecessor, especially since it's the one I've got the most progress on. But replaying that game for this video made me realize I wasn't thinking straight. And to be honest, the levels in this game kinda suck, or at least the ones I played. I mean, the first level was pretty good, but Lorenzen Soil was pretty long and I had a boss that would have been on my least favorite bosses list, Puppy Lug, which would have been okay if it weren't for the slippery control and picky hitboxes. I was gonna put the Flying King on here, but I haven't beaten it yet. But that's okay because the more I think about it, Jim is now a blind salamander, it's even worse. To start off, in this level, Jim here is now, well, take a look at this picture and tell me what he is. But yes, he's now a blind cave salamander. The problem here is that he can't walk, so you have to hold a button in order for him to float. But his blaster is so heavy that floating is so slow. And while we're at it, let's talk about the scenery because oh my gosh, they're probably my biggest problem here. I don't have any complaints about the background, but those red coral things, yeah, please tell me I'm not the only one disgusted by them. And if they touch him, not only will they hurt him, but Jim will also scream in agony. Creators of this game, you do realize that this game is made for children and yet you made a level with references to hentai? The music, like in the Kid Icarus mazes, doesn't make me smile either. It sounds way too sad. And for a game where you play as an earthworm with a spacesuit, I'll bet some sadness is the last thing you want from a game like this. Some parts of the level also become distorted, which gives this level a further indication of disturbingness. Oh, and it's also so dim in some areas. Always a pleasant addition to any bad level. But probably the most pointless part about this level is the quiz and the memory game. Both of these are placed at the end of the level and both are anything but essential. With the quiz, the host will answer you a couple of questions with answers that don't make any sense. I know it's Earthworm Jim and not everything has to make sense in these games, but if you're going to make a quiz game, at least give us the correct answers as options instead of thinking us players have no brain cells. And guess what happens if you lose? Nothing. All that happens is that you lose the health prize they give you. And as for the memory game, well, you have to hit these bumpers in the order the game wants you to, just like a nice game of Simon Says. It's not too bad even with the slow flowing controls, but like with the game show, there's no penalty for losing. And while the Simon Says memory game does reward you with more health the longer you endure this memory game, I don't think many are going to use those wisely, especially considering the change of perspective of the next level. Overall, these 2 segments are simply pointless, since you can't die when failing them. They should have been cut out from this level altogether since they're not really all that fun either. Guys, I really wanted to find something to like in this level, but I couldn't find anything aside from the admittedly hilarious outro Jim does to leave this place. If Jin is secretly feeling what I'm feeling here, I don't play it, because this level is tedious and is way too depressing. But at least there's more levels in the game, so hopefully this game has a chance to redeem itself. I just need to beat this equally tedious joyride first. I don't think I have any way to say to open up this entry, so I'm just going to get to it. Number 6 is the Chico State from Parodius and Nonsense Fantasy. I honestly can't believe I almost left this level off my list. Why do I hate this level? Well, how about we return to my last countdown and listen to a point I brought up in part 2. There are slopes and cramped up spaces everywhere. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Honestly, I despise cramped out areas as it gives you little to no room to avoid anything hazardous to your health, since Simply put, this is, in my opinion, the worst video game cliche ever. Hint to a future list? Maybe. But the point is, the Parodius series, being Schmops, are filled with cramped up areas. Japan came close, but I decided to pick the Chico State as it is the one I remember giving me the most pain when playing it for the first time. Sure, it has nice music and good looking visuals like Toad's music room, but trust me, these cramped out areas will make you want to throw something against the TV, and if cramped out spaces doesn't sound bad to you, don't worry, it also has fast moving projectiles, another flaw with the Parodius games, enemies everywhere, enemies faster than your reflexes, and even enemies that appear out of nowhere. Oh, and don't bring Big Viper or Taco here, as they can only protect their front when their shield is activated. Anything behind them will finish them off. And considering you die in one hit without the shield, trying to beat this level without dying makes playing through the original Rayman pathetically easy. The only saving graces to this level is that it's short and the boss isn't too bad, though it is pathetically easy and short. Still, this level was a nightmare when I played it for the first time, and while I'm at it, considering the fact that this level is a huge Pachinko machine, and this game is a game made by Konami, does that mean...
さあ来いボスは2人もいらない
Yup, this gives this level more reason to be hated. I may not be a die-hard Konami fan, but if I was, then I would happily declare that this level deserves to be lost in space. Heh, I'd be wanting to make that joke.